Sairam students, let's begin with the today's session, Class 8 Political Science, Chapter 3 Why Do We Need a Parliament? Part 2 of this. Let's go through the content. Last time in our first session, we learned about the introduction, right? And then why should people decide? Just let's have a quick recap of what did we learn in our last session here. We learned that parliament is very important for Indian citizens because it gives them the opportunity to participate in decision making and control of government, right? And even we know very well, we learnt about this, like we Indians, we have the democratic form of government, right? And parliament is most important symbol of Indian democracy and a key feature of the constitution. Then we learnt about the democracy. Democracy means you all know very well what is the democratic form of government. That is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Then we started with the topic, why should people decide? In that topic, we learned like preceding independence was a long and the difficult struggle period in which all sections of the society participated. Then we saw that people from various backgrounds joined the struggle, correct? Even they were inspired by the idea of freedom, equality, and participation in decision making. Then we saw like during the colonial rule, people they were facing the numerous. The people were under the fear of the British government. Correct? They were facing numerous problems. But these all problems were solved by the freedom movement, right? That freedom movement changed the situation in our country, India. Then in 1885, the Indian National Congress demanded elected members in the legislature with the right to discuss the budget and ask questions. Then the Government of India Act 1909 allowed for some elected representatives. It was not for all the adults, all the citizens of India, but it was only for the some elected representatives, correct? So legislatures with a right to, then we saw this early legislature under the British government were in response of growing demands of the nationalists, but they did not allow for all the adults to vote. But then finally, nationalists were of the opinion that as different people participated in the freedom struggle, so all of them should be able to participate in making decision also. Then finally, with the coming of independence, we became the citizens of free country. Then in independent India, the government could not do what it felt like, but it had to be sensitive to the people's needs and demands. Then the dreams and the aspirations of the freedom struggle were made concrete in the Constitution of Independent India. After that, we saw the universal adult franchise. That is, each and every citizen of India, every adult of our country above the 18 years has the right to vote irrespective of caste, color, religion, sex. Correct? Then we learnt about the EVMs also. We just started with the topic EVMs. EVMs means what? That electronic voting machine, right? Then we saw these were used for the first time in the year 2004 throughout the country. Their usage saved 1,50,000 trees which would have been cut to produce 8,000 tons of ballot papers, right? This is what we have seen. Now the next topic, people and their representatives. The takeoff point for a democracy is the idea of consent, that is the desire, approval and participation of people. Now we know very well that is only through voting, through election. The basic idea, it is the decision of the people that creates a democratic government and decides about its functions. You all know the very meaning of democracy very well, right? In that the people has been given the importance there. That is government of the people, for the people and by the people. And even the democratic government, the people are the decision of the people decides about its functioning also. So the basic idea of democracy is that the individual or the citizen is the most important person, and that in principle the government as well as the other public institutions need to have the trust of these citizens. Now, how does the individual give approval to the government? Let's see that. See, you all know very well, it is not like each and every individual, government will not go to each and every individual separately, personally to meet and to ask which government do you favor. So the one way of doing so is through elections. People would elect their representatives to the parliament. Then one group from among these elected representatives forms the government. See what happens, that is individual have to give the approval to the government, but how? The one of the way is by through elections. So people would elect their representatives to the parliament. Then one group from among these elected representatives form the government. The parliament, which is made up of all representatives together, controls and guides the government. In this sense, people, through their chosen representatives, form the government and also control it. It means here also people have given the authority. Like they have to choose their representatives, that representatives form the government and also control it. Now here one of the image has been given to you showing that the election staff using an elephant to carry the polling material and the EVMs. I hope EVMs you all know very well, that is electronic voting machines, to polling stations located in difficult terrain. See, we know very well people were making the use of the buses and all this, but here we have seen in the difficult terrain where the land is not perfect, like people are, it's very difficult for the people to walk and all this there. Even the elephant has been used as to carry the polling stations, to carry their EVMs and even other polling material to the polling stations. The Parliament of India, that is Sansad, you can see the image has been given to you here, is the supreme law-making institution. See, the Parliament of India is the supreme legislative body of the Republic of India. It is the legislature composed of the President of India and the two houses. It has two houses, that is the Rajya Sabha, that is included as a Council of States, and the Lok Sabha, that is House of the People. The President, in his role as head of legislature, has full powers to summon an either House of Parliament or to dissolve Lok Sabha. The President can exercise these powers only upon the advice of the Prime Minister and his Union Council of Ministers. So here you can see the Parliament of India is the supreme law-making institution, and it has two houses, that is the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. So those elected or nominated to either house of parliament are referred to as the members of parliament. Here the image of Rajya Sabha has been given to you. Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States, with a total strength of 245 members, is chaired by the Vice President of India. Here Lok Sabha, the House of the People, with a total membership of 545, is presided over by the Speaker. You will be learning about the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in detail also. Then now the role of the Parliament. Created after 1947, the Indian Parliament is an expression of the faith that the people of India have in principles of democracy. See, these are participation by people in the decision-making process and government by consent. So, Parliament in our system has immense powers because it is the representative of the people. Correct? The people has been given the most important consideration here, and they only represent the Parliament. That's why the Parliament in our system has got the immense powers, because it is the representative of the people. So elections to the Parliament are held in a similar manner as they are for the state legislature. The Lok Sabha is usually elected only once every 5 years. The country is divided into numerous constituencies as shown in the map. It is given in your textbook also in page number 41. You can go through the map. See, the constituencies of country has been shown here. Each of these constituencies elects one person to the parliament. Total number of constituencies, there are 543 parliamentary constituencies in India, each electing one member. Then, under Article 82 of the Constitution, the Parliament by law enacts a delimitation act after every census. So, each of these constituencies elects one person to the Parliament. The candidates who contest elections usually belong to different political parties. Now, here, then further we will see here. So, the candidates who contest, those who stand for the elections, those who go for the election, usually belong to different political parties. Once elected, these candidates become the members of parliament, or they are also called as the MPs. You all would have heard about MPs, who are MPs, but MPs means whom? The members of the parliament. These MPs together make up the parliament. Once election to the parliament have taken place, the parliament still needs to perform the other functions also. The other functions of the parliament are to select the national government, to control, guide and inform the government, and even lawmaking. These are the most important functions of the parliament that parliament has to perform after the selection has been done. Once the election is over, the parliament has taken place, and the parliament has to perform all these three important functions. We will be learning about these functions in detail in the next session. So in today's session, we learnt about the people and their representatives, right? The takeoff point for a democracy is the idea of consent. And we know very well that in democracy, the desire, the approval and the participation of people is to be considered. It's must, right? It is the decision of the people that creates democratic government, and it decides about its functioning. The basic idea in this kind of democracy is that a citizen is the most important person, and that in principle of the government along with other public institutions need to have the trust of these citizens. This is what we have seen. Then we saw how does the individual can give approval to the government, right? Through the elections. The most important way is through the elections. People elect. See, you know very well, I can, as a citizen of India, I can vote to the representative to whom I feel, right, is the deserving one. Correct? So here the people, again through the elections, people elect their representatives to the parliament. After this, one group from among these elected representatives form the government. The parliament, which is made up of all the representatives together, controls and guides the government. Thus, people, through their chosen representatives, form the government and they also control it. This is what we have learned in that people and their representatives. Then we started with the next topic, that is the role of the parliament. The Indian Parliament was created after 1947, right? Before that, Constitution Assembly was created in 1946, which started functioning as India's Parliament after 15th August 1947. It stands for the expression of the faith for the people of India have in the principles of democracy. So principles of democracy speak of the participation by people in the decision making process and government by consent. Now, how is parliament constituted? We saw that also. The democratic government is created with the decision of people through elections, right? By election. There are two houses, and for the lower house, Lok Sabha, people directly elect representatives through elections, and upper house, Rajya Sabha, is indirectly elected from the state legislature. Elections to parliament are held in a similar manner as that of state legislature in states and are conducted once in 5 years or earlier if required. So country is divided into constituencies, and each constituency elect one representative to parliament. The candidates belong to different political parties or are independent. So elected Candidates are called as MPs, that is, members of parliament, and together they all form the parliament. This is what just we started with the role of the parliament. Then we saw the once the through election the parliament has been formed, the important functions that parliament has to do is to select the national government, to control, guide, and inform the government, and even the third one is lawmaking. I told you we will be learning these functions of the parliament in detail in our next session. Till then, take care.